One of the hardest things for me to have achieved when I began cake decorating was to get my frosting nice and smooth. Making my buttercream was not a problem, but the biggest part was getting this frosting nice and smooth. My advice to you as a beginner or even a seasoned baker, if you're still having issues with getting your frosting smooth, is that you have to apply these 3 P's: practice, patience. Well, it's actually 2 P's: practice and patience. These 2 are a must if you really want to get better at getting a flawless finish on your buttercream. Now, I want to take this time to say welcome to my channel. If you are returning, I absolutely love you. If you are new here, I trust and know that you will find value, and I trust that you will subscribe and you will know each and every time that I post a video. Now, let's continue. So this cake that I'm working on is a birthday cake. It's 2-tiered. The top tier was 2 layers of 6-inch cake, and the bottom tier here is 10-inch with 2 layers. It is going to be a multicolored cake design. I absolutely love to work with color. So if you love to work with color, I love to see color, this video is for you. For applying my buttercream, I prefer to use this method, which is the pipe and bag method, instead of using my offset spatula to apply the buttercream to the cake, because I fancy that this is a better way for me to get an even amount of frosting distributed around the entire cake. Now, take my advice. Work with what works best for you, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. This method in particular works best for me. The only thing I would have changed was I should have cut the tip of the piping bag just a little bit bigger so that this wouldn't have taken so much time for me to apply this 2-color frosting to this cake. Now we are back to the smoothing out process. This here, I'm going to use my offset spatula, smooth out the top as best as I can, because when I place the top tier on, I want it to be nice and flat and leveled. Using the scraper of your choice, this is one of my favorite scrapers, along with the one that you saw me use on my top tier. All of these items are available at my Amazon storefront. All you have to do is click the link in my bio and you will have access to all the accessories that I love to work with whenever I'm baking, cake decorating, or even for storage, because as you know, storage is a must for all these supplies. This set of scrapers was absolutely the best purchase of scrapers I have ever made because of the value that I received. The cost was one thing, but the features where every scraper had like 2 patterns on them was absolutely incredible. And I'm using the pattern scraper of my choice to apply a nice texture to the bottom tier of this cake. So my fellow listeners, I know you hear my chickens in the background. I live in the Caribbean, so hopefully you are enjoying the sound of the birds and the chickens ever so often. Nonetheless, let's continue to cake this cake up. So we're going to apply our stencil. Typically, I would give a lot of stenciling advice, but if you go ahead and check out one of my videos in the feed, I have lots of advice on stenciling. I won't be applying this pattern to the entire cake. I'm just going to be applying it to 2 sides, one to the top, one to the bottom. I rarely use this stencil, to be honest with you, but when you're stenciling, make sure the cake has been refrigerated, not frozen, refrigerated for at least 2 to 3 hours. Having 2 or 4 pins is very helpful to hold the stencil in place. Make sure you also have all your tools right beside you so you're not running over the place looking for items as you have the stencil on the cake, because I know that this part can be really nerve-wracking. Now it's time for us to outline where that top tier is going to go. This is my fail-proof method. Whenever I'm stacking cakes, I always want to make sure that I create an outline so that when I'm placing the other tier onto this tier, I know exactly where to place it. It's not a guessing game. So take my advice and use this method anytime you are stacking cakes. Because the top tier is a 6-inch cake, I'm using a 6-inch board to map out where I'm going to place it onto this 10-inch bottom tier. Now, dowels. You can use either the plastic dowels. I prefer to use wooden dowels because I feel that they offer way more stability than the plastic ones. I want to make sure that as much of the pressure from the top tier is alleviated off of the bottom tier. So I choose to use wooden dowels. I'm going to cut it to the size that I need. Then I will cut 3 more because I'm going to be using 4 in total. This is where the outline comes in handy as well, because based on the outline, I know exactly where to place those dowels within that circle, that circumference, within that outline. By clicking that link in my bio, it takes you directly to my Amazon storefront that offers you many supplies for baking and decorating that can make your work so much easier and much flawless. I hope you are ready for this part. So for me to stack, I'm going to take my 6-inch board, place it onto my 6-inch cake, which is going to be the top tier. I'm going to place my dowel through the center. This allows me to know exactly where the center of the cake is. And using my big offset spatula, I'm going to use that to help me to lift the cake off of the board and precisely place it onto the bottom tier. Using that outline that I created, I'm going to place it nice and easy, nice and steady, and there we go. Now this center dowel, I'm going to push it all the way down, mark the spot where I need to cut it, pull it back out, cut it, and then push it all the way through. Now it's time for us to add some beautiful flowers. I'm actually using some flowers that I purchased from a supply store that offers like fabrics and all that kind of stuff. So these are indeed fake flowers, and I just made sure to open them up really nicely, and I'm using a toothpick to create the holes that I'm going to stick the flower into your cake, and just go ahead and open them up as you go along and position them to the way that you feel best. Now, this is the thing when you're working with flowers. You have a choice where you can make your sugar flowers, or you can purchase the fake ones, or you can also purchase the real flowers. You just have to be mindful of the customer's preference. And if you're going to be working with real flowers, I typically wrap the stems with saran wrap before I place them into the cake. But be sure to check with your customer what they'd prefer, because everybody have different preferences and allergies, etc., etc. Now this cake is finished, and I trust that you absolutely love how beautiful it came out. If you would love to get the accessories and the tools that I have worked with to create this, you just have to click that link in my bio. It will take you directly to my Amazon store. Enjoy shopping. Remember to subscribe, and be sure to leave a comment if you have any questions. I am here for you. Without you, this channel cannot grow. But thank you so much for watching, and you have a fabulous day.